I like this little light my brother sent me. That thing's honking. Just saying, it's honking. It goes this way, and it goes like, it does something else here if you mash it. It goes like that. And it does both, and then it goes off. And it's battery powered, and it has a magnet on it. You can recharge it. Oh, the joy. Okay, so when we left off yesterday, I was having trouble connecting the fuel gauge to the back of the speedometer. Here is the, well, it's the fuel gauge and the temperature gauge, but here's the fuel gauge, and these two screws screw into the back of this. With that connected, it's almost impossible to get those two screws in there. And it would help if these wires were a little longer. And another side thought about that is that I am going to have to attach resistors to these two wires when I convert this car over to 12 volt. So I'm going to have to lengthen them or have a way to get this out and back in again at some other point. So it kind of occurred to me that I could do this without cutting these wires. I have these large clamps that I got for some application a while back, and with a little bit of modification, this round-headed connector will slide up into that clamp, and that locks pretty firmly. So I can basically wrap that up in some electrical tape, run a wire out of this and another clamp into the back of the gauge. That way I can put the gauge in there and have enough wire to have that plugged in. If need be, I may not need it for this side, but if need be, I can do the same thing over here for the, let's see, I think that's a temperature gauge. I think this is the fuel gauge, but I may have that backwards, but I think that's the way it works. That'll make this easier to get off in the future, so that when I do get ready to pull it all out again and redo, I'm going to have to replace all these bulbs with 12 volt bulbs, but on these two gauges, I'm going to have to put resistors in there to basically cover the, what am I trying to say, to convert it over to 6 volts so that it won't blow these gauges. So with that said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run a wire from here, find me a little connector that fits the back of here, make it long enough so I can get this out and unplug those when I need to. I'll show y'all more when I get that. I did mention earlier seeing a little antifreeze leak, and y'all might remember I swapped out the sending unit here last week, and I noticed a little wet spot right just below that. That may be where my leak is right there, which would make sense. Anyway, I don't think that's going to be anything too serious.